Next reader is John Mellor, and I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell us a little bit about him. So let's give a hand for John. Hold the mic.
That's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, my name's John Mellor, and I fish out of San Francisco, and I live in Berkeley. And I probably would rather fish 30 knots of wind than speak in public, but I'll give it a shot. Also, I can't guarantee all my poems are directly related to fishing. However, in my defense, I'll say that I have been fishing for 38 years, so they're through the eyes and the mind of a fisherman, so I'll give it a shot. Like the wino raises his bag as the day begins, I want to forge my own bonds with the ancients. Providence placed a copy of John Stuart Mill's autobiography in my hands from out of the closet on university for $1. The least I can do is read it. My discerning reader might reckon that I've already started it. Beautiful dream like a lucky ant that changes course and reaches the open box of cookies well before her sisters. Occasion has me in the tenderloin, murder in the smell of piss, a down and outer in every doorway. I'll straighten my back now and pull my hands from my pockets. Wharf poem, fugacity, a fleeting quality. Lenny's dead, ain't that sad? A cock crows, you can hear it from on the mountain. Face washed with spit, ears laced, eyes wiped, head is bad. The throttle trains the hand, the palm checks the fingers. Is there any way forward through this labyrinth of dreams? But Uncle Lou, what if the Vera Vox spits at us with vituperative tongue and with an unmixed clearness? Or is it not often thus? People are coming, people are going, people are whirling and hardly knowing. These shapes, my hold on life. We all look for enlightenment and flounder, Minerva's primaries notwithstanding. Slowly losing hope, an ant crawls over the printed plant of my coffee cup. Meanwhile, above the sea, stones around my neck scream to be untied. 1, 2, 3. Embarcadero number 4. Humanity heads home. They called it a day. Back to the dens, jaws tightening, heads leaning, eyes pinning, tranquility. Thoughts, like strange invertebrates, crowd around the tangled wreckage of my mind. A breezy palaver rips loose from the north spigot. Tap, tap, tap goes the halyard on the mast. Wind and spandrel of an albatross wing. We marvel at how she maintains forward movements with so few beats. A pink awakening, selective openings, sun height buzzing, obviously. Torpor of a dark afternoon, clouds boast of rain, clouds of crowds, rain of words assumed. It's a birth of a sun, mother with lips of fire red, blowing bellying breezes off from the beach. The Titan Mene sits atop the bluffs, surreal, but still no real danger. It's a fear that knows its way. Big waves freeze into glass, menacing in perpetuity. Pharmacon, both poison and cure. God created heaven and earth. Oh, no heaven, no God, no origin of God? Only God's breath hovering over the waters, the deep chaotic darkness. From metering lights to eternity. Embarcadero 1. Energy seeks a vessel among the neatly trimmed craft on the moral sea. Embarcadero 2. 3 by 3, striding on the Embarcadero, coffee cup in one hand, smartphone in the other. Embarcadero 3. A tech bro stops to reflect, puffs out a lungful of smoke. A look at the stars suggests all this is really in the past. I look haggard, as you would expect, reflecting in the glowing chartreuse eyes of Minerva, fragile but not sad. These eyes reflect the aspect that surrounds fluid elements on the changing surface of existence. I feel like an old snake basking in the heat from this moment. I do enjoy the hunt. Ruddy young lungs coughing up blood, red study, blacker dreams, helicopters. Isn't it good to be misunderstood, to smash the basics, to eat phosphorus? Gumshoes, jingling keys, unbrushed teeth, enough. Why, you ask? Why, I ask? Why, they ask? Why, the dust asks? Practice, says the cerebellum. I think of the ramifications of wind moving over the skin of a sea. I would rather write poems than grind fiberglass. About to participate in the absurdity of flight. Piles of prefab sandwiches wrapped in papers of gray. Which one shall I choose? I must consult the slogans. Echoes of lives puff me in a circle. The anti wants to fling me off this precipitous height to see if some host bears me back. A white filigree of meshes almost staunches the blood, but no angels have appeared in my dreams. A black cod was still slightly living in the ice the morning we were to deliver. Somehow, we could speak to one another and we became close. We decided it would be a good idea to put him, a small fish, the big ones are female, quickly back in the ocean. The fish and I drove in my truck for a while and soon came to a body of water. I scampered down the rocks to release him, and he said, "No, John, this is fresh water." Thank you. A life at sea, a most basal teleost. Do you know that there's been herring since the Triassic? Humans still call to each other like whales, but the organs that can hear are asleep. Hold your hands to the fire. It's cold here in this desert of the gods. Suddenly I hear this. Hey, fisherman, will you eat from my hand when the tide changes? Or will you eat anything at all? Minor chords. Your black nails, can I touch them? I feel my mind rise up from the ferromagnetic wastes of the fishing grounds. In dreams, all ingredients of objective matter are for us mere consonants on the plains of our wanderings. Among the swineherds, a wildebeest cries out, interrupting their feverish wallow, but only for seconds. Forge ahead into the darkness, belly scratched and bleeding of burrs, bristling hairs. Away, bash through burning emotive pains, past these verbose cities. Strung out on mornings, awaken to a Chaldean promise, to the whistles and calls of albatross, blows and imagined calls of whales, to self-trickery and command. Oh, that thick wire and the impregnated hose, just made sharp by the chop saw, is now jabbed 2 inches into my arm. Wait, there goes Rambo's bus. Graduated shadows, fixed in triplicate, cicatrice scored, human sits, picking, thinking, looking at the vista spread before him. The black falls, the rocks and sand, back to mother when all is lost. Free bands of big birds pushed to realize precision formations, seeing the screeds of flesh flow towards a kiss from the gods on the bituminous death river. They cry as they return. Music, then voices sing. So you would like some metaphysical lore. When you dream, it's a phone booth. You can always call for a dime. Go barefoot, even the diamonds on the road won't cut, though they say sharp forever. The clouds move very slowly, echoing your thoughts. There is something in store. The blackbird you see is good. She clings on the cross. Her talons find easy purchase in the rotted wood. Thinking is allowed, and the voice is perfect, composed from the first decanting, softly, way out, here. There's little corrections, and there's big corrections. But still, a holdover of happiness after head bashed, broken pen, 5 hours in the wind tunnel of pure experience. My husk is on the floor, and etc., but it's a delicate reasoning. Chaotic attachment could also be called indirect light. We all must survive. These are the last two. Breed flesh from ink, flesh that bleeds when punctured, bones that protrude when mutilate, surround it with filth, evils, suffering, licking tongues, anointing lascivious fingers, livid corpses fought over. A dark mass of fetor issues from the vent, hip sway, arm swing, moving, molten in solution. And this last one's the first poem I ever wrote, about 15 years ago. A flight, the chase, risk, riddle. Words can't define what's being sought. Chains ripped like paper. Pain, pleasant, primitive, gratis. Senseless reality illuminates new senses hitherto unknown. Thanks.